I'm Andrew Segan, and in this video, I want to go over 3 arpeggio patterns you should be practicing on classical guitar. Now, these 3 arpeggio patterns are going to focus on different parts of your skill. That can be your left hand, or it can be your right hand. Now, it doesn't matter if you're just starting with guitar or if you've been playing for a very long time. By practicing these patterns, it's going to help you improve your technique. So without further ado, let's get into the first arpeggio pattern. This is called the PMIA pattern. So why do we call it the PMIA pattern? Well, if you aren't aware already, when it comes to playing classical guitar songs, our thumb is our P, our index is our I, our middle finger is our M, and then our ring finger is our A. So what we're doing is we're just labeling our fingers and then saying P, M, I, A. So what I want you to do is place down a C major chord with your left hand. Now I also want you to get familiar with this sort of B chord. And this is usually the second chord you'll play in these arpeggio patterns, with your second finger on the second fret of the fifth, pinky on the third fret of the second, and first finger on the first fret of the first. Now with our right hand, we're going to lay out our thumb on the fifth string, index on the third, middle on the second, and our ring on the first. And what we're going to do is we're going to go P, which is our thumb, M, which is our middle finger, I, which is our index finger. Then after that, we're going to do the first string with our ring finger. So we have P, M, I, A. So that's all we're doing with this first arpeggio pattern. We're laying down our C major chord. We're going P, M, I, A, P, M, I, A. Once you do it 4 times, you switch to the next one. Arpeggio patterns as a warm-up before you start playing, or you can use them as a practice exercise on their own. Now, why is this arpeggio pattern so important? Well, the reason I love actually practicing this arpeggio pattern and why I recommend it to students is because it focuses on using your ring finger, and it's a little different than what we normally do when we roll chords on classical guitar, where we just go thumb, index, middle, ring. With this one, it challenges you to go in a little different way. So now you're going backwards, and then after you play your first finger, you go back to that ring. So it's a little different than what you are normally playing on classical guitar with, your chords that you're going like that. So that's the first pattern I recommend using, and it's also very important at the same time to think about how you're plucking. Now, I won't go into, a full explanation on, just plucking and beginner classical guitar stuff. If you're interested in that, I do have a classical guitar school called Classical Mastery, which you can check out in the description. But in this video, I just want to go over these patterns and how to play them. Not all the technique when it comes to your left and your right hand. Okay, this second arpeggio pattern is the most difficult one, but it is a lot of fun to play once you get the hang of it. And this is the tremolo pattern. Now, this is a very advanced and fun classical guitar technique, and what you're doing with this is you're playing your ring finger, middle finger, and then your first finger, but you're doing it in a very fast way. You won't be able to see it that much just on camera, but what I'm doing in a slow way is I'm going ring, middle, index. But what you do is you just get used to playing this very fast. Now, if you've never done tremolo before, don't try to do the ring, middle, index way. What you want to start doing is just practicing with your middle and your index finger. So instead of doing it that difficult way, you're just going to be doing your middle and index finger like this. And then as you get comfortable with that, you're going to move on. So what I want to do now is go over how to play the easier version of the tremolo pattern. And then after that, we're going to get into the more advanced version where you add your ring finger in. So we're going to start out with our right hand. Left hand's going to stay the same. With our right hand, we're going to put our thumb on the fifth string and then our middle finger on the first. Left hand, just place down a C major chord, and then we're going to switch to that B chord after that. Now with your right hand, let's make sure we have our C major chord down right now. And you're going to hit with your thumb, then you're going to hit with your middle finger, so pluck with your middle finger, and then pluck with your index after that. So we have this. The main thing with tremolo, and this is one thing that people struggle with, is they don't make it even. When it comes to this tremolo pattern, it should sound very even. It should just be triplets, right? It should be more like this. A lot of times you'll see people play tremolo, especially if they're first starting. It'll sound more like this, almost like a skip. You want to make sure you're not doing that when you're playing this tremolo pattern, and that all you're doing is you're making it as even as possible. You're doing triplets. Now, if you've tried this and you're struggling, then what you should do from here is split it up. Just work on your right hand. Now, just work on getting comfortable with your I's and your M's like this. If you can't do this, there's no way you're going to be able to add in your thumb and do the full tremolo pattern. So the first step, if you aren't comfortable with it, is just practicing your M's and your I's together. Now you can see, I like to kind of say, you're just walking. You have your two legs and you're just walking with your first and your second finger. You can see when you're plucking on this, right? I'm not moving my whole hand. You're just moving back and forth. Now, I do have a bit of nail on my right hand that helps, just a tiny bit, but it is not 100% needed. Now let's talk about the full tremolo pattern with your A, your M, and your I. Now with this one, to first start getting it down, once again, just start working with your fingers. Don't add in your thumb. So you just put your ring finger starting on the first string, and you just go ring up, then you go middle up, then you go first. And you would be practicing this until you can kind of play it, say at this speed. And then after you get comfortable with this, then you start adding in that bass. So you place down that C major chord and add in the thumb. Now, obviously, you can practice it other ways. You can practice it like this. You can practice it together. There's no perfect way to practice this tremolo pattern. So once you get comfortable with that tremolo pattern, you can really add it to whatever chord you want. Now, this is seen a lot of times in Spanish music. There's songs out there. And they don't always do it the chord way. Like there's a Malinguena song, which is a lot of fun to play. And you do a tremolo kind of like this. Generally, it's going to be used on accompaniment notes in music. So that is the tremolo pattern. And the two different ways you can play it, you can do it with your M and then your I, and then you can do it with your A, M, I as well. Main idea when you're going through this is make sure it's as even as possible. Now, the last arpeggio pattern you should be practicing is just a simple ascending and descending pattern. Now, this is where you lay out your thumb, index, middle, ring, and we're going to do for this example the fifth string, third, second, first. You roll up, and after you play your ring finger on the first string, you just come back down. So we're going to use the same chords for this, our C and then our B, and then I'll play it one time and I'll kind of show you how I'm doing it. So it's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, and you're just laying out your thumb on the fifth string, your index on the third, your other fingers go up from there, and you're literally just going P, I, M, A, M, I. Now you can switch it to other chords as well. You can practice this with any chords you want, really. And that comes to, just arpeggios in general, because they're just right hand exercises. So to start getting this one down, you could break it up into steps. You could first start, let's say, just with your P, I, M, I, P, and just leave out your ring finger for the beginning. So you can put your C chord down and you could just go P, I, M, I. Get comfortable with that. And then once you get comfortable with this, then add in your ring finger. Now, the ring finger is going to be the hardest part of this. That's why you want to get comfortable with using your P, I, M first before you get into that. But it would sound like this. Notice, right? I barely am moving my hand at all. This is the main kind of classical guitar picking idea. Really, I'm not doing much with my hand. A lot of people move it so much. No, it can just be calm. Okay, so those are the 3 arpeggios that I really recommend learning when it comes to classical guitar. You have your P, M, I, A pattern, you have your tremolo pattern, and then you just have an ascending and descending pattern. Now you can input this into your practice routine, just start with 5 minutes before you get into playing your pieces, or you can always just practice this as its own set. And once you learn these patterns, you can have fun with it. I'd recommend going out there and trying to make your own songs with the patterns that you've learned. Have fun, because that's the whole point of learning these patterns, right? You can take your right hand pattern and input it to chords. Now, if you want extra help improving your classical guitar technique, I'm going to do a little pitch here, and that is that I run the classical school, Classical Mastery. Now, inside, what we do is we teach classical guitar in a non-sheet music way. So we teach you in a song-based approach where you learn songs through tab, and we also have the notation option if you want to do that as well, and slowly increase your skill to get you playing harder and harder pieces. Now, most of our pieces are broken up into 5 different steps, and every single step has its own backing track to actually practice along with, starting with slow, and they work all their way up to faster backing tracks. Now, if you want more information on Classical Mastery, just check out the description. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We upload every single week here at Classical Mastery. If you have any recommendations on future videos, just put them in the comments as well. We always read those. We want to make sure we put the best content out there. It was fun with this video, and I'll see you in the next one.